We're having a lot of fun, and it is the Big Finish, brought to you by Texas Stars Hockey. And this segment takes on a whole new meaning right now as we bring in the GM of the Texas Stars.
That's the head man in charge, y'all.
We call him Whitey. Scott White, the man who's put this team together. Now they are in the West Division Finals of the Calder Cup playoffs. They open action on Friday in Chicago. Now, Whitey, is Chelios still playing for the Chicago Wolves?
He'll be in the house next Tuesday. Yeah, he is 48.
48?
We're going to pound on him on Friday night. Every check will be finished.
I love that.
Yeah, we just got to finish the checks because it's a grind. They just played a 7-game series, just got finished up, so I'm sure he's a little fatigued.
I got to say, talking to Scott White, GM of the Texas Stars, in the playoffs again, starts Friday in Chicago.
That's correct.
They'll be back at the Cedar Park Center Tuesday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at 512-GO-STARS or TexasStarsHockey.com. Now, I took my son and my sister to see you guys annihilate the Rockford Ice Hogs. Faux Fighter was there. We were loving it. It's unbelievable. The energy, it goes up in the playoffs. There's no question about it.
It was wild. The first 2 games up there were at Cedar Park. It was crazy. It was intense, physical. It was mean, a little nasty. We held our discipline, I thought, pretty good. And bottom line was getting the 2 wins. And then Game 3, it settled right down. There were some issues early on in the game. The referee kind of thwarted them, and then we just laid a beating on them, and it was 3 games to love. And then we kind of hung on in Game 4, but we found a way to close it out, and that was the bottom line. Get some rest.
That's why I like hockey players, because they don't really do politically correctness, which is usually a lie. He just said we laid a beat down on them, and it's time to go. I love that.
Well, it was a close game in Game 3 up there in Rockford. It was 1-0, and then we scored 4 in the second, and that was it. It was lights out. And then the Game 4, I credit them. They battled back, so a little more politically correct, but we found a way to get it done again.
On the ice with the Texas Stars, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. Talking to Scott White, GM of the Texas Stars. Okay, now, I've been talking about this kid, Jamie Benn, number 14. He's a legitimate NHL Rookie of the Year candidate for the Dallas Stars. He comes back down to the Texas Stars. Talk about those discussions, Scott, because you're picking up a star, a future star in the NHL who comes onto your team right as the playoffs are getting going. He had an immediate impact, lighting the lamp for y'all in the playoffs. Talk about what it took to get Jamie Benn back down here. What were those discussions like?
Well, talking with my bosses, Joe Noondike and Les Jackson, we've had this issue before where we've had Louis Eriksson was down, who's been a star for a while now up in the NHL, and he did the same where he came down at the end of the year when Dallas either lost out or didn't quite make the playoffs, and we just find from a developmental standpoint it's excellent. And Jamie Benn's got the right attitude. And the biggest compliment I can give Jamie, besides his play and abilities, is it was a seamless transition. He's right in there. He's engaged. And as Gully, our head coach Glenn Gulletson, he's vested. And didn't take very long. And I expect his game to go up a notch. Now he's getting used to playing 20 minutes a night, whereas he's only playing 14 to 16 a night in the NHL. So it took him a little while to get going, but in terms of that endurance. But he's there. He's around it, and he likes to play. That's the bottom line.
Playoffs open on Friday against the Chicago Wolves. This is the West Division Final. So if you win this, you're playing for the Calder Cup.
Conference Finals.
Conference Finals.
It's a 4-round same. Yeah, so we've got some hurdles to clear, and we're just worried about Chicago, who are an experienced team, won the Cup a couple of years back. Got some key guys. You mentioned Chelios, but they've got a couple skilled guys we have to watch. But I think if we stick to our guns and play our game, and as it comes down to usually in the playoffs, it's all about the guy that stands in front of that net 4x6. If we can get good goaltending, we'll be right around the games.
All right, what are size up that matchup? Because how did it play out this season between Chicago and yourselves? And where do you have the advantage, do you think, and how can you exploit them?
Well, I think from a standpoint of top to bottom, they have an elite line with Jason Krog, Brett Sterling, Matt Anderson. They've got a really good. I don't know if we have that elite of a line in terms of skill, but I think from top to bottom, our group of forwards as a whole are good. I think we can go 4 lines a lot, which allows for proper rest, things like that. I think our special teams are really good, both sides, both the power play when you have the man advantage and when you don't. I think both are good. They have a really good power play, and we'll have to be careful of that. But you know what? It really it's a whole new season. I mean, we were pretty even during the course of the season. We finished 3 or 4 points back of them in the division, things like that. I think we were 4-3-1 against them, so their record's the same against us, because of overtime scenarios. So we were pretty even during the regular season. But you know what? Everybody says you just throw those records out the window, and it's ding ding, game on Friday night up in Chicago.
All right, but the thing that probably stands out, would you say Brent the Wrath of Kron, your goalie, would you say he's the best in the AHL? Where does he stack up right now?
Right now he is. I mean, the statistics indicate it. I think if you asked Rockford, they would say they threw everything but the kitchen sink at him there in Game 4, and he didn't back down at all. And, we feel very comfortable in that scenario with Brent in the net. And we got a guy that's not playing who's just as good, in our opinion, in Matt Climby. So we feel good in that position. Brent's played very, very well, and we hope that continues.
All right, so again, let's make sure that everyone is clear. The playoffs open in Chicago on Friday. They come back to the Cedar Park Center on Tuesday, May 3rd, and Wednesday, May 4th. And I just got to say, I think you guys have put on an incredible show. The energy in the building is fantastic. Now, for the people who have never seen hockey, if your first experience is playoff hockey, it will blow your mind. I watched,
and it'll spoil you.
It will.
Yeah,
it will. It's great energy in the building. Hockey fans are fantastic. And so last night I'm watching Game 7, Red Wings Coyotes.
As I was, yeah.
And the energy, the attack, the check, it's all elevated. It is the most physical sport you'll find, and I know people will say football, but these guys are going 30 miles an hour and they're smashing into each other. Football can't even come up with that. So it is phenomenal stuff.
It's intense, that's for sure. Everybody brings their A game, and they leave everything out on the ice, and that's all the coach can ask. And you know what? Our coaches have done a great job, but our players, more importantly, have put themselves in this position, and we'll just see how it goes. But we feel strongly about our group, and we feel like we're going to give Chicago a good run, and we'll see where it kind of plays out.
On the Ice with the Texas Stars, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. All right, I know you look at the NHL because those are the guys that you're sending up.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think wins the
Stanley? Lord Stanley Cup. Oh, you know what? I really like the Chicago Blackhawks. I think they got a little scare there in the first round, but I think they can get through, and I think they'll push whoever comes out of the East, whether it's Pittsburgh, Washington. If they get through tonight, I think that they'll have an opportunity against Pittsburgh or Washington. That's my pick.
Scott White, GM of the Texas Stars, on the Ice with the Texas Stars, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. Scott, really appreciate it, and best of luck. We'll be all over this playoff run against the Chicago Wolves. Again, starts Friday in Chicago, comes back to the Cedar Park Center next Tuesday. Get your tickets, 512-GO-STARS or TexasStarsHockey.com.